This is my ultimate move. Here. This is my ultimate move. Here. Ooh! Greetings friends and welcome to Let's Make a 2D Arcade Fighter Part 14. In this video we're going to look at ultimate attacks. Whoa! So these ones are going to be kind of like cinematic, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a camera close-up when you do your move, and it's going to be like all over the top and explosive and so on and so forth. I'm going to show you how to add some cool effects, and I'm also going to show you how to make moves that are blockable or unblockable. You know, if you want it to be that, so your enemy has to sort of jump over them to dodge it, all those sorts of things. But yeah, I'll show you how it works, friends. Let's get stuck in. Whoop whoop. Super keen for this one. Alright, so we're going to go into our player 1 over here, and we're going to give ourselves a new microchip. Although you could, in theory, also put this in super moves. We're going to call this one ultimate. Moves. Alrighty. Inside this dude, we're going to put down a little keyframe. So we're going to animate, sorry, not a keyframe, but a timeline. And in this timeline, we're going to put down a few keyframes, and we're going to do ourselves a little animation. So I'm just going to be like, this will be the cool, sort of take a little bit of a lean back. And have a cool hand maneuver going on here. I'm going to show you how to make some pretty cool particle-y looking effects as well. Let's move that leg back so that we get a sense of that preparation. Maybe a bit of a down lean. Alrighty. Let's also move this timeline here so it's just a little bit more in our field of view. Alrighty. So we're going to have it so that he goes, and he's going to stay in this pose for a little minute. It's going to be like, and then he's going to, you can just copy this, then he's going to sort of like unleash it. And that'll be like, whoa. Now he's got a nice cool Kamehameha blast kind of a vibe going on over there. And we'll also make this quite a long keyframe. Then after the fact, he's going to return to his normal position. So all in all, I mean, you can make it 6 seconds. All in all, it's that sort of a vibe. Or you can make it super short, or you can make it even longer. It all depends on you. Alrighty, now I want to add the little, a little bit of a voice line to make this like sort of cinematic. So I'm going to go into sound mode, tools, sound recorder, and I'm going to say, this is my ultimate move. Hiya! Alrighty. Sorry for that. This is my ultimate move. Hiya! So not my best voice acting ever, but it'll do the trick for now. Perfecto. Now the next thing we're going to do is add in a camera. So we're going to go gadgets, camera and lighting. Put down a little camera. And this camera is going to be not aimed at the floor. I don't know why it's sort of in that weird position by default. But it's going to go like here, like whoa. You know, we've got a nice close-up. Games like Street Fighter often have nice close-ups when you do your ultimate attack. Like I think of Ryu before he does his like, you know, super uppercuts or his like big old Hadouken. That sort of vibe. That's what we're going for here. And make it slightly shorter than when the actual sort of the casting or the ability activation is, so that it's like you see him as he prepares, and then as he shoots it, it's like whoa. Then you get back to the normal view, and the normal view is just activated when this camera ends. Alrighty, perfect. So that's looking cool for now. I'm gonna make it triggered with a. You can make it anything you like. I'm going to make it just a touchpad press for the sake of simplicity for now. I'm also going to make it just a play once. We'll change these things, ultimately these things will be changed, but I just want to have a bit of a test quick. Okay, so we're looking good. I'm going to press touchpad. This is my ultimate move! Hiya! So that's the kind of vibe we're looking for. And that voice acting is just bad, bro, but you guys know what's up. You guys know what's up. You'll be able to do your own voice acting. It'll be amazing, I'm sure. Okay, that's cool. So we've got the kind of the pose for it. I want to make this a little bit shorter because I don't want him to spend his whole life doing this move. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm just gonna make it a little bit shorter.
This is my ultimate move.
My voice also like breaks halfway through saying it. But anyway, okay. Next, which is a very fun part, is we're gonna make our super blast. So we're gonna go into sculpt mode. We're gonna go to curve, and it's not actually gonna be a curve. We're gonna go guides, grid snap, and the reason I say it's not a curve is because we're gonna press L1 and square to shape it, and we're just gonna go sort of straight like this. So it kind of looks like a nice blast slash bar of, well, I suppose a poop. It kind of looks like poop as well. Alrighty, we're gonna go for colors here now. We're gonna go to the mix of blue colors, the one that has all these sort of all these lines around it. Then we're gonna go tools, paint, and we can turn off that grid snap. And now we can change the size, and we can just go crazy, give it a little bit of the old decal, as it were, you know. Just make it look like super crazy, so that you get kind of a nice ripple effect. Because at the moment it kind of just looks like a blue bar of weirdly shaped soap. But if you increase its brightness, it now is starting to look super awesome and looking like a energy blast of doom. Don't make this like super bright. I mean, you can if you want, but you don't want to blind your players. You know what I mean? With the blinding lights. Alrighty, next thing we're going to do to make this look cool is we're going to go into modes, style mode, and we're going to make the, we're going to change the fleck type. You can make it whatever you like. I think I'm going to go with splat. You're not necessarily going to see it, but we're also going to make this loads bigger. So don't get worried if it seems small, because it's going to look like, whoa, this is my ultimate move, boosh, and it's going to be like, whoa, you know. You can make it as big as you want. Like, if you do it like this, then the other player is basically just going to get wrecked. Okay, cool. The next thing you're going to want to do is go into your sculpture, which is going to be your ultimate blast sort of sculpture. You're going to go into effects and add a little bit of flow to this boy. So now we see we've got a bit of a flow there going. It's a little bit subtle. And if the brightness at the moment is a little bit annoying for you, you can just reduce it a little bit for now, and we'll turn it up again later. If you want to change the direction of this flow, because at the moment it looks as if it's sort of coming back towards yourself, we'll just go into style, and then we'll go comb, and now it's in the other direction. It needn't necessarily go that way. You can do like a little bit of an angle, and then it looks like it's sort of doing a spinny spin. That's of course up to your preference. Alrighty, so now we've got this cool dude. We must also quickly just go into its physical properties and make sure that it isn't collidable, because otherwise you're going to blast it and then this dude's going to be like, boo! His body's just going to freak out. Ooh, I actually haven't painted this little corner over here, so I'm just going to do that quickly. Make sure it's all painted. There's another little spot. Very nice. Looking cool. Alrighty. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the brightness of this guy again so it looks all cool and cinematic again. Let's see. Yeah, that looks nice. Look at that. What? It's like freaking clouds of doom or something. Okay. Next thing that I'm going to do is put down a little emitter. So I'm going to go into gadgets, moves and output, emitter. And you're going to align this emitter up with the moment that you do the attack, which is this keyframe here, when your hands sort of move forward. The emitter settings, we're going to say emit speed 0, emit mode once, and we're going to make it last for, let's say, how long is this? So about 2 seconds, yeah, 2 seconds. Make it last for 2 seconds, because we've got from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. That's when it's your sort of cast animation. You can adjust that as you desire. And we can set max emitted to just 1. Okay, sweet. Then the thing that we're going to emit, or object to emit, is of course going to be our crazy Kamehameha blast Hadouken that we've got over here. And we can adjust the size as we desire. You can also click on this keyframe so you know where your dude's hands are, so that it is cool. So yeah, you could make it so that like this is a low attack or it's like a high attack. So for example, your enemy would be able to duck under it, or you could just make it massive and it's like, bro, if this ultimate attack comes out, you're basically Shrek'd. That's all up to you and how you want to balance your own fighting game. And that looks fairly straight, I think. Alrighty. Sweet. So now at the moment, what's going to happen is you're going to do a nice cool little blast, and you can rename this like, if you like. I don't often rename my emitters, but you want to be thorough. Blast. Whatever. Now blast. Then we've got it sort of labeled, and we've got what's going on and what's cracking over there. So let's have a quick check to see if it works. This is my ultimate move. Okay, that's crazy. At the moment, it's not hurting the dude, of course, because it doesn't have any tags that would trigger any of his hit reactions. But we're going to get to that very soon. The next thing I want to do is actually just do that. So I'm going to put down some tags. And these you can actually take from your super moves if you feel like, because we've got our like super hit heavy tags and all these sorts of things. But if I recall, those dudes are in fact, whoopsie, those dudes are in fact on our little attacks themselves. So you go into that little logic. We've got super hit body, and you can of course make that a part of the old timeline itself. So super hit body, for example, could be like, we'll be like, yo, super hit body is gonna be over here. We can turn off, or we can turn invisibility back on if the stuff is getting sort of in your face. We can do this here. So it's sort of like in front of you. You can do a few of these so that like basically wherever your opponent is, he's most likely going to get shreked by this attack. So you can do a few. So there's basically just like a line of doom. Once again, you can also put this on the actual like blast sculpture itself. So now if we try again, this is my ultimate move. You see, he's getting wrecked and getting knocked back and so on and so forth. We can also actually add in a little bit of a force applier so that he kind of gets knocked back too. So we'll go force applier. And we can make it cylindrical. Put on our grid snap quickly so that we can get it nice and straight. L2 to rotate this guy. And we'll make it so that it's like, yeah. This thing is just pushing my dudes back. Alrighty. It needn't be too strong, or it can be 100% strength, but the speed needn't be too insane. You can make it like 2 or whatever it might be. Okay, let's have a squiz of this. This is my ultimate move. Oh, I think I made it. What I didn't do was I didn't make it directional. So make it directional so that it actually pushes the dude in the direction you'd like. The arrow's just over here. So now let's try again. This is my ultimate move. So there, it's freaking pushing him into a different realm. He's getting pushed into a Street Fighter game. In my dreams, perhaps. Okay, we can actually reduce that as well, because even that's quite intense. Alrighty, the next thing that we're going to do is add in a health modifier. So this is the thing that's going to be doing the damage, of course. Okay, so we're going to go health modifier. Oh, sorry, not health modifier. No, yes, health modifier. We're going to turn off this grid. And we've got our health modifier. Sorry for my brain derp there. And we're going to do, sure, okay. It could be, okay, check this out. I think what we'll do is we'll make it like -10, right? But we'll make it continuous. So it's like, the more you're in the blast, it's like, so it's not just like one hit, but there'll be like sort of a continuous like blast or continuous sort of damage cycle that happens while you're in it. So that almost encourages characters to, or players to sort of jump out of the way, or, you know, like you would for an ultimate attack. You're not just going to sort of try and tank it. But there you go, you might try and block it or whatever it might be. Okay, sweet. And of course, we're going to take our super damage and connect it to this health modifier. So that if the person blocks, we remember, if you go back to our block video, we realize that this super damage, this little dude over here, what are these things called again? Number, value, dinuses, what are they called? Value sliders, yeah. So we have the super damage value slider, and this changes the amount of damage you take when you block. So that's just what we've got over there. If you're not too sure, just check out that block video. But that's going to work now with our little ultimate attack as well. Okay, sweet. So at the moment, we've got a thing that deals a buttload of damage. because it's not really going to be in your own zone, you don't really have to change the tag in terms of like, oh, it's going to affect friend or it's going to affect foe, because you're not ever really going to get hit by your own ultimate attack. And then another thing I want to do is also to just disable the controls while we are here. So what we can do for that is to just make it, put down a little dude here, and this guy shall disable our controls. And that'll be for the whole time. So it's like when you cast this move, you can't do anything else for the duration. Okay, let's see what's up. This is my ultimate move! Hiya! Okay, that's super cool. Did you see how that damage worked? Like, that smooth damage dealing is actually really nice. I'm actually going to increase the damage though, because it's a little bit on the low side. I'm going to make it maybe 20 actually. Because when this is ultimate attack, like when you get hit by this, it's trouble. This is my ultimate move! Hiya! That's cool. I think that's cool. If you want to increase the damage of that, you know how. Okay, sweet. So friends, that is how we do an ultimate attack at the minute. We've got the things that'll make you sort of get knocked back, the things that'll push you, all those sorts of dinguses. All those sorts of things, sorry. I'm slipping into different languages now. Okay, this keyframe we're going to say disable controls. Dingus means thing in Afrikaans, in case anyone's interested. Okay, so disable controller. I'll just say disable con. Okay, sweet. So now we have our ultimate attack. If you wanted to make it so that this attack wasn't blockable, you would just disconnect the super damage value slider from this health modifier, because this one reduces the damage when you're blocking. But if you wanted this attack to be unblockable, then you would just delete this connection here and you wouldn't be able to block it. If you wanted it to be that they could jump out of the way or dodge it, all you'd have to do is go to the health modifier and sort of reduce the size of this zone, or this AoE of this health modifier, so that it was a little bit more fair and they could sort of jump out of the way, and even if it just reduces the damage a little bit, you know what I mean? So there you go. You could also, if you're feeling very extra, for hit reactions to ultimate attacks, you could make it so that, if for example you're doing like a melee ultimate attack, you could make it so that when there's a hit reaction, it would be like a super over-the-top hit reaction as well. Like they'd go like, whoa, and they'd do like an amazing backflip or something like that. And we would know how to do this as well. All we would have to do is go to our hit reactions, which are somewhere, they're over here. And all we'd have to do is, we could make a new tag, for example. We could do like ultimate hit body, for example. We could name one of these ultimate hit body, put down a new trigger zone, which might be called trigger zone for ultimate hit body, and then we'd make ourselves a new timeline, which would just be like a crazy backflip or whatever it might be. If you want to figure out how to do that sort of stuff, just go to hit reactions. It's as simple as doing the super hit body. You'll just make yourself a whole new timeline and animation there. But it's really quite simple. Okay, sweet. The next thing that we have to do for our ultimate attack is in fact working with our EX cost system. So if we go to our super moves, which are over here, I really need to organize these and sort of color code them. If we work with our super moves, what we're going to see here is we've got our little energy cost system. So I'm going to go energy cost, and this is going to be checking that we've got at least 1, for example. But now it's going to be checking, do we have at least 3 bars, which is the equivalent of 29.9, or if I'm unsure, I can just be like 29.8. Okay, cool. So it's basically going to check like, okay, cool, are these dudes like basically 3 bars? And in the event that they are, then we're going to activate this guy over here. So this little wire, which was the touchpad press, we can see it over here. We're just going to grab it from outside, and we're going to use it to power the 1 energy cost, which we should rename the 3 energy cost. So now what's going to happen? When we do the touchpad press, it's going to check, okay, cool, is player 1 or player 2? Is their energy equal to 3 on the X gauge? And it'll be like, if yes, then it will activate our ultimate attack. Okay, sweet. So in order to test this out, we're going to do a quick run through, and of course I'm not going to be able to do it because my energy isn't high enough. So I'm quickly going to put down a little variable modifier, which is going to just temporarily, and it's going to P1x, it's just going to continually add some of that. So now I've charged very nicely. This is my ultimate move! Hiya! So that's cool. It required me to have 3 in order to work. But the logic isn't quite done yet, because of course when we do our ultimate move, we've got to reduce the player 1x gauge as well. And in fact, what you can do for this one is, it's a little bit simpler because you don't have to worry about maths for this one. But you're going to go set player 1x to 0. So you don't have to say reduce by 30 or whatever, because basically when you use your ultimate attack, all your x gauge goes away. So there we are. Player 1x is going to be set to 0. Now if we want to have our 2 player 1 or our player 2 version, we can also just have that just like this. The difference of course is that, like over here, we can just copy these nodes so that we have 2 versions. And we can go the result, in other words, if player 1 has this amount, if player 2 has this amount, it's going to power these various nodes. Power. So I've done a few things there. If you've watched my previous video, you'll know what's cracking, but if not, it's going to check player 1x, is it equal to 3 bars basically? This one is player 2x, is that equal to 3 bars? If so, it's going to power player 1's ultimate attack, and if player 2 has enough, it's going to power player 2's attack. These nodes get powered by the player 1 and player 2 settings. So when I'm player 2, it's going to dispower or depower this dude and give this one power. So that's just a quick run through if anyone's the first time on these things. Okay, sweet. Then the next thing we're going to do is of course go to our ultimate attack and make it so that player 2x is set to 0, because we don't want it to be that player 2 uses this attack and then his opponent's x gauge is set to 0. So those are just a few things to be consider when you're doing this. Okay, sweet. This is my ultimate move. Hiya! So the x gauge immediately sort of filled up again, because I had a little bit of a whoopsie. What's going on here, bro? Because I've got my little guy over here. So I just want to quickly make it so that we've got set to, let's make it 29.8 just once. Okay, alrighty. Okay, so it's set to 29.8, but it's not sort of blasting it out. Let's see if I set it to 30. This is my ultimate move. Okay, cool. Hiya! Okay, sweet. So that looks cool. So essentially when I've got like 30, or in other words, if we just look at this calculator once again, it's not if we've got it equal to, it's when it's greater than. So I just want to check if we've got it greater than 29.8. If you wanted to reduce this value, if you're like, oh, actually I wanted to make it just a little bit safer. So for example, we could go 29. Then we can mess around with these values just so that it's nice and smooth and that there's not like a sort of gap or... Okay, cool. So now I've got 29. You can tell it isn't quite full if you look there. I'm kind of pointing with my finger, but of course you can't see that. But it's just not quite at the end yet. So in other words, it's got to be 30 in order to be... Woohoo! In order to actually be activated. Okay, sweet. So now we're going to check once again. Sorry, there's a bit of back and forth here, but... Is it higher than 29.8 or 29.9? And then it will blast that off. Okay, sweet. So we can get rid of this variable modifier because that was just for testing purposes. And now the true test is we're going to delete player 2, copy him, flip him, and see what's cracking over here. Alrighty, so let me just get another controller and test this out. Okay, sweet friends, so here we are. I'm going to go as player 1 and I'm going to just lay down a beat down on player 2. KO! So that their X gauge fills up. Because as we know, when you take damage, your X gauge fills up faster. Okay, cool, looks like we're full. And now player 2 is going to use his ultimate attack. This is my ultimate move! Hiya! Alright. Alrighty. Okay, friends. So that looks like it works for player 1 and player 2. One other thing I'm just going to change quickly is, if you saw at one point the imp jumped out of my dude when he used his attack. So I'm going to quickly go to my controller sensor and make it so that imps are, how does this work again? Okay, imps are hidden. I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to go to my camera, oopsie, and make it so that imps are hidden. Oh, of course. No, I know what it is. It is because of my logic. This new camera in here can see imps. So I'm just going to turn this guy off. Hide imps. And for this guy as well. Hide imps. And the reason the imp pops out is because the controls are disabled when you use this attack. So when your controls are disabled, you essentially depossess your character. So just going to delete that old guy, put it on new guy again. So now we should be golden. Beat down, take this.
KO.
You coming here with those lame moves? Okay, sweet.
This is my ultimate move. Here.
So I'm getting wrecked. Okay, sweet. Now I want to get player 1 to get beaten down.
KO.
Okay, so it's 1-1. And now if player 1
This is my ultimate move. Here.
I'm gonna jump over it. Oh, okay, I can't jump because I'm getting wrecked. Okay, that's actually a lot of fun. Okay, sweet. Friends, the next thing I'm going to do is just add in a cool little particle effect. And I've been messing around with these sorts of things myself in my own little creations. So essentially what we're going to do, if you're not interested in this, this is basically just bells and whistles. But if you're not interested in this, then have a good one. Thanks for joining me. But if anyone wants to make their stuff a little bit more funky, then let's stick with it. Okay, we're going to go to guides, surface snap. We're going to go to color blue because that's the color of our moves. And we're going to do like, let's just go like back and forth. Okay, so it looks kind of stupid now, but we're going to make a few clones of this dude. We're also going to put, animation. We're going to make that super fast. We also do kind of like a pulse thing. So yeah, at first you thought I was dumb, but now look at this freaking thing. Okay, then we're going to go brightness. We can also increase the number of these clones. If you want to change the look of it so that it's kind of slightly different, you can do that as well. We're going to do that, maybe a bit of scale jitter so it looks a little bit different. Whoopsie. Okay, sweet. So now I've got this cool like blast charging thing. So I'll just go over that because I did that kind of fast actually. So the main things that we do is we make our little shape. Then we go into clone and we make a rotational duplicate in all directions so that it does kind of like in a nice sphere shape. We change the number of clones, we change the scale jitter. Another thing we do is go to animation and we make it very fast. The way that animation works is it moves your stroke in the direction that it was painted. So I went out and I went back in. So that's why I went like this, like whoop. So that's why it sort of goes out and goes back in like this sort of on a crazy trajectory. So you make that super high depending on how fast you want it. You can make this a ridiculously high value as well, like, but I think that's a pretty cool one. If you want to increase the brightness of that, you also can do that to make it more sort of energetic looking. And sorry, one more thing is you put it on pulse. So by default it'll move, but it'll the stroke will stay there, so it looks almost like the flow effect. But if you make it pulse, it only draws it and leaves a sort of a little bit of a trail as it goes along. So you can make that shorter or longer and mess around with those sorts of things. These things are really awesome for making particle effects, and it also costs not that much thermo wise as well. Because often when I would do stuff with paint before, I would make it movable, but the amount of movable paintings you can actually have in your dreams is actually fairly limited. So this is a nice way to sort of do something cool without breaking your game. Okay, sweet. So this is just going to be like a nice little particle effect that's going to be appearing on your hand, I think. So we'll have it just over here. And it'll be sort of like we'll reduce the emit speed. We'll put it over here by our dude's hand. Ooh, Oopsie, sorry, I picked up the timeline there. By our dude's hand. So we'll go to our timeline quickly. A keyframe. So now it's like he's charging up his ultimate attack. You know what I mean? Yee. So it's going to go once. It's going to last just under 2 seconds. So we can make it sort of like 1.5 seconds. And that will be that. Okay, sweet. Then we're going to do the same thing for our player 2. It's going to be in the exact same position. It's going to be looking good just like that. Okay, cool. So that's our little particle effect, just for the old classic bells and whistles. So now player 2 is going to lay a beat down on my player 1.
KO.
So that my X gauge gets filled nicely. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Okay, sweet. Now as player 1, I'm going to go.
This is my ultimate move.
Okay, cool. So maybe that was a little bit, it didn't look super amazing because it didn't kind of stick with the dude's hand, you know what I mean? So in the event that this isn't working, that's fine. We can just delete this emitter, and actually take our particle effect itself and move it so that it's by our dude's hand just over here. So we like literally scope into the dude's hand, so only the hand is highlighted and everything else is gray, and we just plop this dude right down. By default now, we're gonna, after we've just put it down, we're gonna go into its painting properties with a little paint bucket, and we're gonna go opacity 0%. So that's essentially the same as setting it to invisible. We're gonna go gadgets, or sorry, animate, keyframe, increase this to 100%. So that's basically this keyframe makes it visible. We'll scope out with this keyframe, and then we're going to go into our animation where we had before. We've got a little keyframe over here. We're going to ultimate moves, and we're going to go here. And this keyframe, which is, let's say, PE, which is just particle effect visible. So now when we use our ultimate move, because it's now scoped into the dude's actual hand, what's cool about that is it means that it'll follow your hand sort of exactly. It won't sort of just be floating. Because when you emit stuff and you set it to sort of 0 move speed or emit speed is 0, then it's just going to stay in one spot. But let's see how it works.
This is my ultimate move.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that was really cool. I thought that was pretty dope. We're going to do that for, of course, player 1 and player 2, so we can make particle effect visible for player 1 and player 2. And the last thing that I'm going to do just to make this thing nice is to put in a little explosion. So I think we've got an explosion lying around here somewhere. Yeah, here's one. I'm just going to copy this guy. Then I'm going to make it blue, so I'm going to go into modes, code mode, and make it blue. Swing. Code mode always takes so long. Okay, sweet. Then we're going to do that. And what we're going to do is get our little timeline. And this is also kind of like a funky technique that I learned actually when I was making my Let's Make Goku video. If you want to see how to make Goku, then devs check that out. But we're going to put down a little emitter. And this emitter is going to, the emit speed is going to be 0. It's going to emit this little blue explosion, and it's going to be sort of like right in front of us, like this. But it's not just going to be one, and it's going to be pretty big. So we're going to make it pretty big. Sorry, it's looking a little bit crazy at the minute. Difficult to see what's going on. But we'll rotate it and move it around as necessary. We're going to do multiple every 0.5 seconds, let's say, and it's going to have like a crazy rotation speed. But it's going to be rotating. Let's put a grid snap on quickly. So that this dingus, or this little pointy out bit is pointing forward. So in other words, it's spinning this way, as you can see here. You can reduce it as you desire. But now check out what this looks like. It's going to be, so it's going to be, as we shoot out our blast, there's going to be crazy explosions in front of us. Okay, sweet. So once again, beat down, beat down, beat down.
KO.
And one more beat down. Okay, sweet. Now my dude is going to use his ultimate attack.
This is my ultimate move. Hiya!
So as you can see, we've got sort of like a crazy, like spinning thing. Alrighty, friends. So that's really all there is to it, and more. You can increase the brightness of this if you like. This explosion, because I found that it was like a little bit dim. You know what I mean? So all you do is sort of select everything. You can increase that brightness there a little bit, if it suits you. Okay, sweet friends, so that was quite an in-depth video. Also, one last thing is, of course, if you've got that cool effect there, make sure that you copy and paste it so that your player 2 has it as well. And then, of course, we can turn off this grid snap, delete this old dude over here, and then put our new guy. Okay, sweet friends, we'll turn off preview invisibility as well. Okay, sweet. Friends, that is all there is to it. It was quite a bit, I will admit. But there was also quite a few extra bells and whistles that you could add in if you so desired. We can move this here now. And I think one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to color code these quickly. So, punches will be red. Hit reactions can be, let's say, let's make it kind of like a orangey, orangey. Kicks will be green. I don't know why kicks are green in my mind. Throws can be like I don't know. Throws can be like purple, I suppose. Ultimate attacks can be also kind of like a blue, I think. And then super attacks can be sort of like a lighter blue. Okay, friends. So now we have a little bit of and block is also blue, but we know what's cracking. So now we have just a little bit of color coding, so we know a little bit more about what's going on. There's crazy wires and all sorts of business here, but in future videos, as I keep saying, we're going to make this, it'll be like in our final video when we make everything nice and neat and, you know, we make all the logic sort of work together and coalesce and all those sorts of things. But friends, that is all we have to do for now in order to get our ultimate attack. We've got a nice cinematic one. If you wanted characters to have a specific ultimate attack, or multiple ultimate attacks, for example, you could do that with sort of like a variable. So you could make that like if the ultimate attack is set to 1, then he'll do his first one, and if it's set to 2, he'll do his second one. But I'll leave comments about that if you guys are interested and you want to sort of ask questions on that. But friends, this has been a long, juicy one. Thank you so much for sticking with me through to the end. And yes, if you have any questions, let me know. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button. If you want to see more, definitely subscribe. And yes, thank you so much, friends, and I'll catch you on the flip-flop. Peace out!